Hey everyone, welcome to episode 77 of This Week in Marketing. I'm your host Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates in the digital marketing space from the week of October 4, 2021. So first of all, we're going to start off with Microsoft. Okay, so what did they announce? Well, if you've been following our show and you kind of know how I've always talked about all these platforms are following each other this day and age, and I remain correct. And Microsoft announced that, starting June 30, 2022, they are retiring expanded text ads and they will be replacing that with responsive search ads. Okay. And why I say I'm correct is because, a couple of or 3 weeks, about a month ago, I guess, we announced in our show, we covered the announcement of Google's Google Ads that they have retired expanded text ads as well, or they're retiring expanded text ads as of 2022, in around, I think June 2022. So Microsoft just followed that, announcement. Okay, with that, the other thing Microsoft announced this week is that they are automatically going to generate remarketing lists for advertisers. The 3 types of auto-generated remarketing lists are one is all visitors list, which will include all users who visited the advertiser's website in the last 30 days. A list called all converters list, which is a list of users who converted within the past 180 days. And number 3 is a smart remarketing list, a list of users likely to convert powered by Microsoft's advertising's audience intelligence and designed to deliver a high conversion rate. Right. If you ask me, I will say that's a great move because oftentimes small businesses, they forget to create remarketing lists. And if Microsoft is doing it for them, then you know what, they can always go back and restart and do display campaigns. That's all for this update. Let's move on to the next update, which is Pinterest. So Pinterest has 3 major updates this week. Number 1 is they are basically adding a new slideshow for collections promotion option. Basically, it's an ad option, right, which is allowing a slideshow for collections, basically an ad unit to appear in stream with relevant searches. And then, if a searcher sees or a pinner sees something that they're interested in, they can tap into it, tap on that ad unit, and then they go focused more into it. So that's all. I mean, again, it's pretty much a standard ad play right over here. Next up, hold on just a second. Okay. So next up, Pinterest is also adding a new merchant details to brand profiles, which will enable businesses to showcase their values in the app. This just provides another way to facilitate stronger brand connections, especially among socially conscious younger shoppers who are increasingly looking to buy from brands that align with their value. Right. Pinterest is also expanding their verified merchants program, which highlights businesses that meet Pinterest's customer service and brand connection guidelines with a verified check mark in the app. Again, I think this is good. This is different from what Facebook verification is all about, but I like what Pinterest is doing here. And also, FYI, I own Pinterest stocks, so I am a little biased towards Pinterest, and I don't own Facebook stocks directly, but even if I do have stakes in Facebook through funds and ETFs and index funds that I own or hold positions in, I'm not a big fan of Facebook just because it's just a rotten company to the core. Anyway, coming back, so that's what the verified merchants program is all about. And then finally, Pinterest is also testing a new sponsored content option for idea pins, which is basically Pinterest's take on stories format. Sponsored idea pins are displayed with the profile image of the creator along with a paid partnership to tag to disclose the brand relationship. This is basically, again, helping creators make money through their own through their paid sponsorships and things like that. Again, nothing new over there, but I just like how these platforms are really enabling creators to be able to go make money on their own, and which allows them to make a living. Okay. With that, let's move on to the next update, and this is coming from Snapchat. Snapchat rolled out this thing this week called Run for Office Mini. This is just their way of encouraging younger generations to get involved in democracy, as well as check out some of the options. It's not really marketing update per se, but I do have to say I am covering it here just because I figured, this is such a cool thing that Snapchat is doing. Aside from, if you compare Snapchat versus Instagram is all about, how their report came out this week where how they have been very bad for the teens and they've contributed to all these social problems, whereas Snapchat is actually participating more into civic engagements and prompting users, the younger generation, to actually become politicians and directly influence political shifts. So overall, great move from Snapchat. Please do check it out, because I think it also provides information on how to fill out the forms, where to fill out the forms, and all sorts of things for local election offices. So at a local micro level, and then you can go off to national level. But anyway, that's all for this update. And the next update is Snapchat now announces a new creator monetization tools as it seeks to maximize in-app engagement. Remember, this is a Spotlight challenge. Again, Spotlight challenge, they came up with this challenge last year where they were giving out about $1 million per day. And then obviously Snapchat realized, oh my gosh, this is so successful. People are actually using our platform, and we are paying so much. Then that program took a hit. And then obviously and I've covered this in our show as well, where I've shared that like sometimes these programs, while it sounds great at a meta level, at a high level, but when you dig deeper, you realize that people like you and I, we never get to win, because we are not that that big influencer. We are not this big kahuna where we can create all sorts of things and years of experience. We get we don't get the encouragement to do it. We get discouraged, and as a result, only the top earners are doing it. With this new program, what they're saying is guys like you and I have a chance. That's what it is all about. But I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's just that, from Snapchat, from a platform perspective, it's making some moves, which I think is going to pay dividends down the road in terms of, user engagement, more users, things like that. So if Snapchat is a platform you're considering, then definitely you should look into this platform, as well as, look what Snapchat is going to do with this, creator challenge. Okay. With that, the next update for this week is from Mailchimp. Mailchimp is something we generally do not cover in our podcast. However, this is such an update that I think, I must cover it, right? Why is that? Because this podcast is all about helping the small SMBs, small, medium-sized businesses, be informed and be able to grow with the least amount of resource, right? That's why I do this podcast. So Mailchimp, basically the email marketing platform, has announced new functionality to help optimize email campaigns. They're launching this thing called Content Optimizer that will recommend specific improvements to email campaigns based on AI-driven comparison of the content with best content practices gleaned from Mailchimp's billions of marketing data sets. Right. So what will Content Optimizer do? It will make recommendations relating to readability, typography, call to action placements, and compliance with brand standards. I don't know about you. I'm sold. And by the way, we use Mailchimp for our email programs, and I'm so glad we are using Mailchimp. Maybe other platforms have it. I haven't heard about it, but I don't think anyone has done this solution. Now, you could say and argue that, Sajid, is artificial intelligence is 100% not there. But, small businesses like ours, even if we get a 10% increase, that's a great increase for us, right? So I will take it any day over 0. 10 is better than 0 is all I will tell you, right? So definitely check it out. And if you're on Mailchimp, you should be excited. Next up, Twitter professionals are now available to more businesses. Initially, it was rolled out to a small test group. Twitter professional profile is a free upgrade to standard profiles, which is available as an option to those with professional accounts. And you can use a professional profile to display information you are not able to showcase on a standard profile, such as you'll be able to show your business location, hour of operation, method of contact. You can actually have enhanced features. Right now, the only two enhanced features are like signing up for newsletter as well as shop modules. Twitter is saying they're going to work on other features that are going to roll out in the coming days or in the near future. Okay, so in terms of what you need to have a professional profile, is you need to have a physical location where you do business with clients or customers, be based in the US, and use Twitter and English. And if you think you have these two criteria is nailed down, then you need to fill out a brief form and to confirm your eligibility, and then Twitter is going to take you step by step from there. By the way, before you can apply for a professional profile, you need to convert your standard account into professional account, and then you have to ask for all sorts of stuff. So, and converting from let me see, the standard account can be converted into professional account from the settings screen by selecting switch to professional. That's the first step. And then you need to fill out the form, and then Twitter is going to do the verification, and then you're going to be approved. You can go for it. Okay. With that, next up, Clubhouse. We covered Clubhouse last week, which is episode 76, and we said, there is this new feature from Clubhouse called Clips, and it was a beta format. It wasn't available to all users, and then come this Monday, Clubhouse said, hey, you know what? We have rolled it out to everyone on iOS. Yeah, right? It's coming soon on Android. So if you're not sure what clips are, definitely check out episode 76, which was last week's episode. You'll be glad you did. And with that, let's move on to the next update, which is Instagram. Instagram came out. Well, Adam Mosseri, CEO of Instagram, came out and they says, hey, guess what? We are combining IGTV and feeds into this one thing called videos. Now, last year, if I remember correctly, when Reels was announced, I was telling Instagram has gone crazy. They have so many things. People are going to be confused. They have the feeds, they have the Reels, they have the videos, they have IGTV. And and then they have e-commerce functionality, and Instagram became this hodgepodge. And I'm finally glad that, Mosseri came out and he shared that, oh yeah, it's too much, and we're going to combine it all together, and we're going to basically give it one thing called videos. That's great, right? It allows, because I do long videos, and every time I want to do long videos on IGTV, I think about it, man, no one's going to go to my IGTV tab. It's not going to be in my feed. Now it's combining, it's going to be looking good. That's one. Number two, Mosseri came up and says, oh, well, we announced we are going to move away from, we are no longer a, photo sharing app, because, our users has told they love videos very much. Well, I disagree, Mr. Mosseri, and I've told you why. Well, number one is because you pushed us. Like, for example, we realized when we saw the data that, how much reach we get when we do published Reels versus just standard posts. We were like, what? Instagram's pushing Reels. Let's move with it. Now, again, they might be reporting views on reach on Reels in a very different way than what we do for standard posts. But again, we go by the number you show us, and you're showing us Reels are getting higher reach. We are doing Reels mostly, especially if you go to MKT and Grow on Instagram, MKTANDGROW on Instagram, you will see we've been doing mostly Reels. It's because of that. So I disagree with Mosseri, because you kind of have given us more push on Reels and videos, so we basically started creating more. Now tomorrow, if you come and say, hey, posts are going to do more better, guess what? Everyone's going to do posts. And by the way, I like a combination of two. So I do not know why Mosseri came and did that, but how I feel about Instagram and Facebook as a whole, because you kind of saw the fiasco that happened this week, where the whistleblower from Facebook went to Congress and then talked about everything that Mark Zuckerberg didn't want you to know, but we all knew. But anyway. So the other thing that you want to know from here is the video previews in feed will now be 60 seconds long unless the video is eligible for ads, in which case the preview will be 15 seconds. And then finally they're changing the name of his video ads. Instead of calling IGTV ads, they're going to call it Instagram in-stream video ads, which is basically similar to YouTube in-stream video ads. But anyway, I didn't say that, they just, they came up with this amazing name. Okay, next up this is not directly related to, this is marketing, but this is Google AdSense. Google AdSense is shifting from second price auction to first price auction. What is a second price auction? In the early days of online display advertising. Ad space was sold to advertisers in second price auction, where the final price paid by the winner was determined by the amount of the second highest bid. Over time, many ads sell. Okay, that's what it is. I was reading the rest of the Google's announcement, but you don't need to know that. Where this affects us right now is that if you are running display ads and you thought you are in a second price auction, you are no longer second price auction. So previously, if two brands were bidding $5 and $6 respectively for an ad slot, the winning bidder ended up paying $5.01. Under a first price auction model, however, the winning bid would be the full top bid, so the advertiser would pay $6 for the impression. Yay! More money for Google and publishers, but you and I are gonna get paying more. So that's one thing for Google display ads. The second thing is that Google will probably may bring this to Google search ads in the near future. Just be forewarned. I hope, and you can never say, hey, I didn't know that. Okay. Next up, we have Google's Google Search Console integration with Google Analytics. And basically what Google is doing is that Google is realizing that because of Apple's ATT, as well as all the privacy hoo-ha and the first party cookie going away, excuse me, they're incorporating more and more of this, machine language, artificial intelligence into Google Analytics. So you could kind of see all in Google Analytics. So basically they want you to use Google Analytics 4. That's all it is all about, right? And also they're putting data-driven attribution with no minimum threshold to Google Analytics. Google Analytics 4, by the way, not 3, 4. So basically, again, they want you to use Google Analytics 4. Google Analytics 3 they still haven't announced the end of support of it, but Google is really pushing and adding these new features in Google Analytics 4. So if you ask me, I would say start using both. For marketandgrow.com, we use both on our website, and we're slowly phasing into Google Analytics 4. So, and if you do not know much about data-driven attribution, so definitely listen to our last week's episode 76, where we covered data-driven attribution, because you'll be glad you did. Okay. And with that, I think that's all for what Google is saying about Search Console integration and new data-driven attribution modeling in Google Analytics. Lastly, we have for this week is YouTube is looking to help advertisers tap into the rising consumption of YouTube content on home TV sets with the expansion of video action campaigns to connected TV, also known as CTV placements, right? Or CTV placements. Video action campaigns now include CTV inventory to help advertisers reach new customers and drive more online sales. So what does that mean in layman's term? Well, what it means is that now you and I, the small fishes, would be able to advertise our brands and things on big screen TVs as if we are, advertising on TVs. That's great. Now, one thing I will tell you is that please be careful though, because I don't think people really are watching TV. They're going to really jump onto your website in the middle of the show. But this is a very good brand building things, right? Brand building, top of mind exercise, if you ask me, because that's how I think the old days TVs worked. So that's what it is. Other than that, nothing else from these announcements. But if you want to read more, obviously there is our show notes where I have all these details written up, how it works, what it means, and things like that. Definitely check out our show notes. Okay, folks, with that's it for this week in marketing. Now you know everything to be in the know. Make sure you read our show page where you will find the links to the articles as well as some more additional details. Once again, this is your host Sajid Islam signing off until next week.